Heartwarming discovery, the incredible truth about the guest who actually owned the entire hotel. Edna's Cozy Inn wasn't just a motel, it was a sanctuary. Tucked in the heart of a small Midwestern town, it offered warmth and love in every corner. When travelers walked in, they were greeted with the scent of freshly baked cookies and the joyful laughter of Edna herself. She had a way of making everyone feel like they were family. But behind the charm and cheer, clouds threatened to gather. Bills piled high, and whispers of economic struggle filled the air. Edna's devotion to the community seemed to be losing its battle against the harsh realities of the world. Jessica, Edna's determined daughter, felt the weight of the world on her shoulders. At 25, she had dreams of success that clashed with her mother's heart-centered philosophy. "We can't keep giving away rooms to locals for free," Jessica exclaimed one night, frustration bubbling over. "Mom, it's about the numbers. We need to think like a business." They were voices raised in love yet marked by the strain of unshared visions. Meanwhile, a mysterious guest had arrived, Mr. Thompson. He was quiet, often sitting in the corner of the common room, as if he was absorbing every moment. Locals whispered about him, their curiosity piqued by his aloofness. Jessica found him intriguing but remained skeptical. Who was he, really? One fateful night, the skies turned dark, and a storm rolled in with fury. Wind howled, rain cascaded, and suddenly, the power went out. Panic darted through the town. In that dire moment, Edna sprang into action. "Come on, everyone. To the motel," she called. And just like that, neighbors flocked to her, seeking shelter and safety. Together, they huddled in the candlelit lobby, sharing stories and homemade meals. Laughter filled the air. Strangers transformed into a community. The tension between Edna and Jessica softened. Jessica watched in awe as her mother seamlessly wove together the hearts of their neighbors. The energy shifted, it was palpable. As laughter mingled with flickering candlelight, Jessica felt a profound realization dawning upon her. The motel wasn't just a business, it was a lifeline. Then, just as the revelations unfolded, Mr. Thompson stood up. "May I have everyone's attention?" he said, voice steady yet powerful. He revealed he was not just a man passing through, he was the heir to a large hotel chain that once owned their quaint establishment. Yet, he had left that life behind, disenchanted by wealth and longing for community. "I chose Edna's Cozy Inn because of the love and connection it radiates," he declared, the weight of his words igniting whispers of shock and surprise among the crowd. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let's continue. Jessica's heart raced. This man represented everything she had doubted and overlooked. Was success rooted in profits and balance sheets, or did it too lie in the bonds of community? As the storm faded and dawn beckoned, she realized she stood at a crossroads, one that could weave the threads of her mother's love into her own dreams. What lay ahead was uncertain, but that night had ignited questions larger than the storm itself. Could she embrace what mattered most? And would Mr. Thompson hold the key to transforming their beloved motel into something greater, a true testament of home? The answers hung in the air, heavy yet hopeful, leaving Jessica eager to explore the journey ahead. As the first rays of sunlight broke through the gray clouds, Jessica felt an unusual sense of clarity. The night's events replayed in her mind like a cherished song. The way her mother had drawn the townsfolk together, the laughter that had blended sweat, tears, and joy, all of it was contagious. Stirring from her thoughts, she found her mother in the kitchen, kneading dough. "Morning, sweetheart." Edna beamed, flour speckling her apron. "I'm making cinnamon rolls for everyone. They'll love it." Jessica smiled, but a knot tightened in her stomach. Mom, about last night Mr. Thompson. Edna paused, her hands stilling for a moment. Didn't he inspire you? She asked, eyes twinkling with that familiar hope. Sort of, Jessica admitted, biting her lip. He has a way of making you see the bigger picture. But do you really think we can have a successful business based on cheese and charm? What better foundation could there be? Edna placed a comforting hand on her daughter's shoulder, her eyes full of unwavering belief. What we create here is magic, Jess. That's what draws people in. Jessica nodded, though uncertainty loomed. After cleaning up, she decided to take a walk. The fresh air would help clear her thoughts. As she stepped outside, birds chirped, heralding the new day, a world that felt transformed even in its same familiar hue. The town was waking up as well. Neighbors greeted her, smiles widening when they mentioned how nice it had been to gather at the inn during the storm. When she sat down on the porch swing, old memories washed over her. She'd spent countless summer evenings there, listening to her mother's stories. Time had flown, yet now those memories felt woven into the very structure of the inn. It was true that Edna's Cozy Inn was more than just a place to stay, it was a heart beating in rhythm with the town's pulse. Suddenly, she spotted Mr. Thompson walking towards the motel, a determined look on his face. Because of the bond they had forged the night before, curiosity sparked within her. Could he really help her understand how to bring both dreams of success and meaningful connection together? "Good morning, Jessica," he called out, his voice warm and friendly. "Morning," she replied, wiping her hands on her jeans, feeling the morning dew brush against her skin. "Do you have a moment to chat?" he asked, glancing at the inn behind them. Her heart raced. This was it. The opportunity she didn't know she was yearning for. "Sure, let's talk," she said, squeezing the swing's chains nervously. They found a cozy spot in the garden, surrounded by blooming flowers. Mr. Thompson began to share his vision, a bold idea that he had been developing. The town could thrive with small events, art fairs, community dinners, workshops. What if we combined all of that here? He proposed, excitement evident in his eyes. With your mom's warmth and your flair for organization, we could create something incredible. Jessica listened intently, heart thumping. It sounded daunting yet exhilarating. Was this the truth she desperately needed? Events like these could draw families, bringing in profits while strengthening community ties. An inn that serves not just beds, but hearts, he added, making her heart swell. But doubt nagged at her. What if it fails? The words stumbled out. Then we learn and try again, he said simply, confidence radiating from him. But we can't ignore the potential. As they spoke, Jessica felt a shift within her, a flicker of belief igniting. Could they really turn this idea into reality? With tangled emotions swirling inside her, she met Mr. Thompson's gaze, his determination sparking something deeper for her. The crossroads she stood at felt less divided now, as if the paths were beginning to merge. "Let's do it," she said, enthusiasm bubbling up. But just as they were about to delve deeper into details, Jessica glanced towards the inn. Edna emerged with a tray of cinnamon rolls, her eyes glistening with the morning light. One moment, a simple moment, and the path before Jessica felt richer with every heartbeat. And somewhere deep inside, she wondered, could this be the beginning of a new chapter for Edna's Cozy Inn, where love and business intertwined in the most beautiful dance? As they settled into their powerful brainstorming session, a sense of excitement filled the air. Jessica could feel the butterflies dance in her stomach. Mr. Thompson seemed to glow with every idea he tossed into the mix, and she found herself captivated by his passion. "What about a weekly farmer's market?" he suggested, his hands animated as he spoke. "Imagine the locals bringing their goods, the fresh cheeses, fruits, and handmade crafts right outside the inn. It could become a community hub." Jessica nodded eagerly, picturing people laughing, children running, and the delicious aroma of fresh bread wafting through the air. "And maybe we could host monthly themed dinners?" she added, her thoughts racing. We could focus on different cuisines, maybe even highlight local chefs. Now you're talking, he exclaimed. The energy between them was electric. They began exchanging ideas like fireworks bursting in the sky, each one igniting the next. But just as they were deep in conversation, a voice disrupted their flow like a pebble hitting a still pond. What is going on over here? It was Edna, her warmth radiating as she approached them, her apron still dusted with flour. Mom, we're brainstorming ideas to revitalize the inn. Jessica explained, her eyes shining with enthusiasm. That's wonderful, sweetheart. Edna clapped her hands, the tray of cinnamon rolls balanced perfectly in one. I hope you're not wearing yourselves out. Mr. Thompson chuckled, the relaxed atmosphere inviting a deeper conversation. Actually, Jessica just suggested some amazing alternatives for community events. We're thinking beyond ins and outs. More like life and laughter. Edna's smile widened, and Jessica felt a rush of relief. Her mother's approval meant everything to her. I love this energy. Let us harness it. Edna exclaimed, her lively spirit infecting them both. What do you need from me? The menu for the events. Jessica said, a grin escaping her lips. You know, focusing on what represents this town, like a true taste of home. Count me in. Edna's voice was full of excitement, and the three of them dove headfirst into discussion about flavors, scents, and the heart behind every dish. It felt as if they were weaving a beautiful tapestry of hope, laughter, and culinary delights, but in the midst of all this excitement, something began to gnaw at Jessica's heart, a question that lingered, whispering in the background. What if they really did succeed? Maybe we should think about funding this whole idea, Mr. Thompson suggested, pulling her from her thoughts. There are grants for small businesses, especially ones that encourage community growth. Edna nodded knowingly. I've heard about a couple of local programs that might be a good fit. I can look into it. Jessica's worry crept back. But what if we cannot get the support we need? What if we fail? The exchange of glances shared between Mr. Thompson and Edna spoke volumes. We won't fail if we support one another, he said, his voice steady. This is bigger than just an inn. It's a chance to create something lasting for our community. Jessica took a deep breath, allowing the weight of his words to settle in. She hadn't realized how much she needed this, both the idea and the connections deepening with her mother and Mr. Thompson. If they all came together, maybe they could make something exceptional happen. The road ahead might be bumpy, but I believe we can do it, she said, her heart swelling with newfound confidence. Just then, a shadow flickered across the garden. Jessica turned, finding Mrs. Henderson, the retired school teacher, eyeing them as if sensing a spark of something extraordinary. Good morning, everyone. It seems excitement is brewing. She called out, a mischievous smirk on her face. Jessica met Mr. Thompson's gaze, and they shared a knowing smile. Could others feel it? Could the entire town join in this unexpected journey? Mrs. Henderson stepped closer, intrigued. What are you planning, Jess? You have that glow. The question hung in the air like the warm sun above, lighting the way for what was to come. Jessica felt her heart race, the future before her both uncertain and thrilling. Could this plan truly revitalizing the inn and the entire town? Let me tell you, she began, a smile dancing on her lips as she launched into the vision that was starting to bloom, and as the words left her mouth, she felt the beginnings of a dream taking root. But just as hope filled the air, an unexpected sound suddenly interrupted their gathering, an unfamiliar voice calling out from the inn's doorway. Excuse me, but I think I'm looking for someone. Jessica's heart stopped for a moment. The unfamiliar voice hung in the air, thick with curiosity and uncertainty. She turned slowly, her stomach twisting with a mix of excitement and apprehension. A figure stood at the inn's entrance, half hidden in a patch of shadow that extended from the door frame. It was a man, tall and somewhat disheveled, with a cap pulled low over his face. His eyes, however, sparkled with a hint of mischief and familiarity as he stepped forward into the sunlight. "Are you Jessica?" he asked, the slight quiver in his voice giving away his trepidation. "Yes, that's me," she managed, her curiosity piqued. "Who are you?" "I'm Ben," he replied, and there was something in the way he said his name that made her pulse quicken. "I used to come here when I was a kid. My parents brought me every summer." Her mind raced. The inn had been a beloved spot for families for decades. His statement opened a door to memories that echoed laughter and joy and painted pictures of a vibrant community filled with cherished moments. Mrs. Henderson, who had been quietly observing, suddenly stepped forward. "Ben? As in Ben Carter? No way. Your parents used to own this inn." A look of surprise dawned on Ben's face. "You remember them?" "I do. They were lovely people," she said, her eyes misting over. "What a small world. I didn't even recognize you at first." Jessica felt a rush of energy surging through her. The history of the inn and its past intertwined with this unexpected visitor. "Your family owned the inn?" she asked, pushing aside her hesitation. Was this destiny or mere coincidence? Ben nodded, his expression shifting to one of nostalgia. "My parents lost it in the 90s. We had to move away. They always talked about coming back one day." "Wow, that's incredible," Jessica said, her thoughts spinning. "We've been brainstorming ways to revive the inn and create a community space. We're trying to give it back that warmth it once had." "I can't believe it," he said, excitement spilling over. "I'd love to help. It holds so many memories for me, and I'd want to see it flourish again." He glanced around, taking in the beauty of the space, the garden, the potential bubbling in the air. As he spoke, Jessica caught the gleam in Mr. Thompson's eyes. This was more than just a connection. This was a chance to bridge gaps between past and present, to reignite the spirit of what had once been. "I can reach out to my parents," Ben continued, his voice steadier now. "They still hold fond memories of this place. Maybe they want to support the idea." Jessica felt a rush of gratitude. This wasn't just about the inn anymore, it was about family, history, and the deep connections that often wove through the fabric of a community. Edna approached, her warmth extending to the newcomer. "Ben, if you're serious about helping, we could use everything we can get. You might have insights that could really breathe new life into this place." A small smile spread across Ben's face. "Let us do it." Just as the air seemed thick with possibilities, an underlying worry tethered to Jessica's heart. What if they reached out to Ben's family and things didn't go as hoped? Would he still want to be part of this venture if there were complications? But before she could voice her uncertainty, the ground shook gently beneath their feet as the townsfolk began to filter into the garden. Curiosity drew them to the gathering like moths to a flame. Amid the bustling crowd, Jessica felt a chorus of voices propelling them forward, filling the air with laughter and ambition. Their excited chatter swirled around her, alive with shared dreams and possibilities. But deep down, a new question began to form. Could the support of the town, coupled with Ben's connections to the inn's history, truly pave the way to something extraordinary? As the crowd gathered, the weight of that question loomed over the excitement bubbling within her, and the answers felt like they were just out of reach. Jessica stood at the center of the gathering, her heart a mix of hope and anxiety, as the townsfolk exchanged stories about the inn. Laughter echoed around her, but the question still lingered like a shadow. Could all of this really come together? Ben leaned closer, his excitement contagious. "Jessica, you know what? This place has so much potential. I can already think of events we can host. Imagine a summer festival, a talent show, something to bring everyone together." She caught a spark in his eyes, his passion igniting her own. "That could work. We could set up food stalls and have local musicians." Her voice trailed off as she began to envision the inn bursting with life, just like in the days of your as the crowd swirled around them. Edna was speaking to a group nearby. We were thinking of revitalizing the gardens too. Adding more flowers, maybe even a vegetable patch, something for everyone to enjoy. Jessica smiled. It felt like the pieces were beginning to fit. A community garden might draw even more people, families walking in, sharing their experiences and stories, just like many had in the past. Ben nodded in agreement, his enthusiasm unyielding. Yes. And let us not forget about adding some historical touches. We can put up photos, memories from everyone who came here in the past. Bring the history alive. Her heart swelled at the idea. Absolutely. It should feel like a home away from home. Suddenly, Mr. Thompson clapped his hands to gather everyone's attention. All right, folks. We have a special opportunity here with Ben back in town. The crowd shifted, voices quieting as they turned towards him. Let us hear what we can do together to bring this place back. Ben stepped forward, his tall figure projecting confidence amidst the sea of eager faces. I want to talk more about my parents' history with this inn. They loved it here. If you all help me, I could reach out to them, and maybe we can find a way to bring back some old traditions. Jessica felt the momentum building, enthusiasm radiating out towards the group. And we've been thinking about a community meeting. To gather everyone's thoughts about the inn's future. What do you all think? An excited murmur rippled through the crowd, sparking smiles and nods of agreement. Jessica felt a flicker of warmth, a connection forming. Amidst the collective excitement, however, a shadow crept back into her mind. Ben's mention of reaching out to his parents made her worry resurface. What if they were not on board? What if there were complications they hadn't anticipated? She tried to shake it off. We'll take things one step at a time, she told herself. As the crowd began to break into smaller groups, discussing ideas and pooling resources, Jessica pulled Ben aside, her pulse quickening again. Ben, thank you for stepping up today. But are you sure you want to dive into all of this? What if your parents don't want to come back? Or if they don't agree with our vision? He took a breath, the flicker of doubt in his eyes contrasting with the determination in his voice. Jessica, when I think about my childhood here, I can't help but believe this place deserves a second chance. I'm in for whatever it takes. Let us make it happen. His determination sent a shiver of excitement through her, but she still felt a pang of doubt. Could they really make this work? Then, just as optimism wrestled with uncertainty in her heart, a voice called from the edge of the crowd. It was Mrs. Henderson, her face pale as she approached. Jessica, you should come see this. Jessica's heart raced as she followed Mrs. Henderson through the crowd. What had she found? The door creaked open, and Jessica stepped into the inn's main hall, her thoughts spiraling with anticipation. But as she looked around, the sight before her took her breath away. The inn, once vibrant with laughter and life, lay before her shrouded in dust and shadows. But among the cobwebs and faded wallpaper, something else captured Jessica's attention. A heavy wooden trunk sat in the corner, half open, spilling out a collection of weathered photographs and yellowed letters. A chill tingled down her spine as she approached, kneeling down to get a closer look. What is all this? She murmured, her fingers brushing against the fragile letters, filled with elegant handwriting. Mrs. Henderson perched nearby, glancing over Jessica's shoulder with a mix of curiosity and concern. I found these when I was cleaning up. I thought they might belong to Ben's parents, but they're even older, Mrs. Henderson replied softly. They might tell us more about the inn, its history. With trembling hands, Jessica carefully retrieved a letter. As she unfolded it, the scent of ancient paper wafted through the air, carrying whispers of the past. The words danced in front of her eyes, and so we cherish every moment spent in this beautiful inn, sharing laughter, love, and stories with all who visit. Her heart swelled as she read the intricate details of the letter. It spoke of celebrations, reunions, and friendships that had formed within these walls. Each sentence was a thread, stitching together a tapestry of lives that intersected here years ago. "Look at this!" Jessica exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm as she held it up for Mrs. Henderson to see. "This is incredible. We need to share this with everyone at the meeting." Mrs. Henderson nodded, her face brightening. "Absolutely. This history could inspire the community to breathe life back into the inn." As they sifted through more letters and photos, the stories painted scenes of raucous laughter, covered dances, and lingering conversations that once rolled through the hallways. But then, tucked away in a corner, one photograph caught her eye, faded but clear enough to reveal a familiar figure in the background. With wide eyes, she leaned into the picture. "Mrs. Henderson, is that?" Jessica hesitated, the revelation hitting her like a lightning strike. "Is that Ben's dad?" Mrs. Henderson squinted at the photo, and realization dawned on her. It must be. And from the look of it, he was quite fond of this place. This could mean a lot for Ben. Jessica's mind swirled. This wasn't just about reviving the inn anymore, it was about uncovering a legacy that could endear the town to the inn all over again. They found the roots of history still living here, inside the very walls that had almost been forgotten. Excitement bubbled within her, yet amidst the warmth of discovery, a nagging uncertainty tugged at her heart. Would Ben's parents feel the same way? Would they want to return after all these years? Jessica's gaze drifted back to the trunk, feeling a weight of unspoken truths. Just then, the sound of footsteps echoed from the hallway, breaking her reverie. Ben appeared at the entrance, casting a curious glance at the scattered letters and photos. His face lit up with confusion and surprise. "What's happening? What did you find?" he asked, stepping closer. The mixture of hope in his tone echoed Jess's own racing heart. "Ben, you need to see this." She beckoned him toward her, excitement spilling over, but before she could explain, something in his expression shifted. A shadow crossed his features as he peered down at the letters, and Jessica's heart sank. "Is it too late to uncover all this?" he murmured, almost to himself, a hint of fear creeping into his words. With that question hanging in the air, Jessica felt the gravity of their journey press heavily upon her. Could this find truly bridge the past and present? As the weight of his emotions hung between them, Jess sensed a dawning realization this discovery might change everything or be the first hurdle in healing old wounds. "Let us figure it out together, okay?" she offered gently. Ben nodded slowly, yet the unease in his eyes lingered. They were standing on the edge of something monumental, but would it be enough to pull their histories back into the light? What lay ahead remained a mystery, a daunting question filled with potential yet tangled with fear. And as the inn embraced the night, Jessica couldn't shake the feeling that they were standing on the brink of a deeper truth waiting to unfold. Ben took a step closer, his gaze shifting from the letters to Jessica's expectant face. The shadows of doubt still clung to him like a thick fog, but the truth in her eyes pulled him temporarily from that gloom. Jessica sensed the tension, as if they were on the cliff's edge of something big. "What do you mean it's too late?" she pressed gently. "It's just," he hesitated, his voice barely above a whisper. "After everything that happened, I thought maybe there was no way back to it. You know?" The weight of his past seemed palpable, hanging in the air between them. Jessica's heart went out to him. She had her own fears, but she couldn't let his doubts overshadow this moment of revelation. "Look, these letters, they're a part of your history, Ben. We can't ignore them." "You can't ignore them." Her words hung there, a lifeline thrown into turbulent waters. His shoulders relaxed for the briefest moment, and he knelt beside her, the pile of letters now shared as a bridge between two worlds. "What do they say?" he asked, his fingers grazing over a faded letter she had set aside. Jessica quickly summarized the stories of festivities and camaraderie, each line steeped in nostalgia. "It's like they never really left," she continued, feeling the warmth of shared memories begin to melt away his apprehension. "They loved this place, Ben. It was a home to them, maybe like it can be for you. Maybe Ben's voice trailed off as he reached for the familiar photograph. They really were happy here, huh? His thumb brushed over the image of his father, laughing among the crowd. For a moment, Ben seemed lost in thought, the past alive in his mind's eye. What do you think? Jessica probed softly. Does it make you feel anything? He let out a shaky breath. There's a part of me that wants to cling to that happiness. Yet I can't shake off the thought that maybe I'm just chasing shadows. Maybe it's not about chasing shadows, she said, meeting his gaze firmly. Maybe it's about honoring those memories. Finding a way to bring them back into the light. For the first time, Ben's expression shifted from wariness to curiosity. So we dig deeper? Explore the past? Yes. The meeting tomorrow night is the perfect start. If we share what we've found, it could encourage the community to see the inn in a new light. A chance for healing. A flicker of hope ignited within him, though uncertainty still lingered. But what if they don't care? What if we fail? Isn't trying worth it? We've already found these treasures, Ben. What's more valuable than that? The passion in her voice surged, infusing their shared space with energy. He nodded, a little more determined now. Okay, let us do it. Let us uncover this history for my parents and for everyone. Just as they began to sort through the letters again, the door creaked behind them. Mrs. Henderson stood in the doorway, her expression one of encouragement. I couldn't help but overhear. I believe you two are on to something wonderful. Jessica glanced up with a smile. We are. It might be what the inn needs to come alive again. Mrs. Henderson took a few steps forward, her excitement palpable. Then let us prepare for that meeting. We should bring all of this. Imagine the joy of connecting everyone to their stories. The trio gathered the letters, photographs, and hope, a spark of possibility lighting the dim corners of the inn. But as they packed everything, Jessica noticed something odd. A letter that appeared out of place, its seal intact and crumpled as if it had been moved recently. Wait, what's this one? She asked, her brow furrowing as she examined it keenly. Ben leaned in, eyeing the mysterious envelope. I don't remember seeing that before. Do you? Jessica shook her head, feeling the electric thrumming of anticipation in the air. Who had sealed this letter? What secrets did it hold? As she slowly broke the seal, the night felt charged, as though the inn itself leaned in to listen. The letter inside was unlike the others, almost palpable with tension. What if this changes everything? Ben murmured, apprehension mixed with curiosity dancing in his tone. Taking a breath, Jessica unfolded the letter with trembling hands. Before she could read it aloud, she caught a glimpse of the first words and froze, her heart leaping into her throat. Ben, you've got to see this, she breathed, her eyes widening in disbelief. What revelation awaited them in this unexpected letter? The night was thick with mystery, and Jessica felt their journey had only just begun. Jessica's hands shook as she read the opening line. The words beckoned from the page, enticing yet daunting. She couldn't shake off the sensation that they stood at the edge of a sprawling abyss, one that intertwining threads of history could plunge them deep into. Ben, listen, she breathed, and tried to steady her voice. This letter is from your father. He straightened up, eyes wide, a mix of surprise and disbelief washing over him. What? How can that be? Just let me read it. With a deep breath, she continued, pulling her gaze back to the letter. My dearest, for years I have held on to this secret, it began, the ink slightly smudged but still legible. It is time for you to know the truth about our connection to this inn and the people who cherished it. Ben's brow furrowed as she continued, the words spilling out in quick succession. This place was not just an inn to us, it was a sanctuary. But more importantly, it was a dream that belonged to more than one. A soft gasp escaped Ben's lips. He reached out, gripping her shoulder, a plea for clarity. What does that mean? Jessica took a moment. Each line seemed to weave a much larger tapestry of family and belonging than they had initially thought. It's hinting at something bigger, Ben. This in it held dreams. Yours and your family's. And he urged, what else? The very next line states she hesitated, glancing back at him, ensuring he was ready for whatever might come next. It states that your father once shared ownership of the inn with someone named Tom West, a family friend. Ben's face fell momentarily, confusion danced in his eyes. I don't recognize that name. Neither do I, Jessica admitted, her own heart beginning to race. But the letter says he was like family, someone who made decisions here alongside your dad. They had plans, dreams of expansion and community events. Ben shook his head, still processing. Why didn't anyone ever mention him? I don't know, but perhaps this is the key to unlocking the truth, your father's choices, why they left, and why you've felt so disconnected ever since. The gravity of the letter pressed against him, heavy and suffocating. So, what do we do now? Jessica's eyes sparkled with determination. We find out who Tom West was. We can't just let this fade into obscurity, Ben. It's about more than just the inn now. It's your family legacy. A slow smile crept onto Ben's face, flickering like a candle flame. You really think this could help? I do. Imagine sharing this at the meeting, connecting people to their pasts. Reviving the spirit of the inn. Emboldened, they scrambled to gather their things. Mrs. Henderson stepped forward, her expression solid with resolve. What have you found? Is there more to this story than we thought? Before they could answer, Jessica shot Ben a hopeful glance. They shared a silent understanding, something deeper than they had realized was waiting to be uncovered. Yes. Ben exclaimed, enthusiasm bubbling to the surface. There's a mystery to solve. We're going to learn about Tom West. We'll not just reconnect families, we'll redefine the whole story of this inn. The weight of the night shifted to one of exhilaration, yet a sense of urgency buzzed around them. The air felt thick with possibilities, ideas colliding like fireworks. But even amidst the excitement, a voice inside Jessica whispered caution, urging her to be prepared for secrets best left buried. What if this isn't just a happy ending? She thought, a flicker of anxiety haunting her. What if some truths are harder to uncover than others? They gathered their scattered photographs and letters, the excitement palpable in the air. But as they were about to leave the room, Jessica spotted a faint shimmer on the floor, a small object hidden beneath the desk. Wait a sec, she said, kneeling to pick it up. It was a vintage key, its surface cold and unyielding in her palm. What now? Ben asked, a mix of eagerness and concern in his voice. Jessica held it up, feeling the weight of the mystery unfold before them. I have a feeling this key could unlock more than we bargained. 4. What door awaited them with this newly discovered key? The night might hold answers, but it also promised uncertainties they were not yet ready to face. Jessica clutched the vintage key tighter, its cold metal brushing against her palm. The room felt electric, teeming with possibilities. She caught Ben's eye, and a wave of unspoken questions passed between them. What was behind this door, and could it change everything? This could belong to one of the storerooms, Ben suggested, his voice barely a whisper, as if speaking too loudly might shatter the fragile moment. Or maybe it's a safe. The thrill of discovery painted urgency across his features. Let us find out, Jessica replied, her heart pounding at the thought of the secrets they might unearth. They slipped out of the study, the weight of their ambitions illuminating the dimly lit corridor. Every corner of the inn seemed to pulse with hidden histories, the creaky floors whispering tales of laughter, sorrow, and everything in between. Jessica's mind raced with visions of what lay behind locked doors, old photographs, forgotten letters, maybe even clues about Tom West himself. Do you think he had something to do with your father leaving? Jessica asked, already piecing together the timeline in her mind. Ben shrugged, gnawing at his lip, deep in thought. If they were close, maybe there was a falling out, or a shared burden neither of them could bear. Jessica nodded, her curiosity transforming into a heavy weight in her chest. The depth of the mystery grew thicker with every step they took towards the storeroom at the end of the hall. They reached a narrow door marked with peeling paint. "Here goes nothing," Ben whispered, sliding the key into the weathered lock. The door creaked open, and the scent of musty air drifted out, a testament to years of neglect. They stepped inside, bending their heads to avoid cobwebs that danced lazily down from the ceiling. The room was filled with dust-covered furniture and stacks of old crates. It felt as if time had stood still within these walls. Ben moved deeper into the shadows while Jessica cautiously approached an old trunk that lay half-hidden beneath a tattered blanket. "Careful," Ben warned softly, all tension and anticipation. With a gentle tug, Jessica pulled the blanket away, revealing a brass lock. The trunk seemed significant, its edges worn but proud. "This might be it," she breathed, glancing at Ben. Their hands met as they both reached for the trunk, a brief moment of connection that silenced their racing hearts. "What if it holds something important?" Ben asked, his voice barely breaking the hush around them. "Let us open it," she replied, her heart racing as she tried to twist the lock with her fingers. As if sensing their urgency, the lock clicked, and the lid sprang open with a reluctant creak. Inside lay a collection of yellowed letters stacked neatly, tied with a faded ribbon, and several framed photographs. Ben picked up a photo, his hand trembling as he recognized the faces before him. "This is my dad," he exclaimed, the joy morphing into confusion as he examined the other figures surrounding him. "And there's Tom, but who are the others?" Jessica leaned in closer, her breath catching as she spotted an unfamiliar woman in the photograph. She had a warm smile, one that seemed to radiate love and warmth, and yet there was a weight behind her eyes that felt achingly familiar. "Who is she?" Jessica whispered, the words heavy with intrigue. "I don't know," Ben replied, confusion swirled with a flicker of recognition in his voice. "But she feels important." As they dug deeper, revealing the hidden stories behind the faded letters and tangled history, questions erupted. Why didn't anyone mention these people? What did this woman mean to Ben's family? Just as excitement began to grow alongside worry, a particular letter slipped to the floor, its envelope embossed with an elegant seal. Ben crouched to pick it up, his fingers trembling as he revealed the name on the front. "Jessica, we might finally be getting closer to the truth," he said, eyes wide with realization. But before he could tear it open, a loud noise echoed from the hallway. Their hearts sank, the realization creeping in that they were not alone in the inn. "Who's there?" a voice called out, unsettling and firm. Jessica and Ben exchanged panicked glances. The thrill of discovery was suddenly overshadowed by a chilling fear. It was clear, whatever secrets awaited them might come at a cost. What dangers loomed beyond their moment of illumination? As they stood there, pulse racing, they had to ask themselves, had they stirred something that was meant to stay hidden? Jessica's heart raced as the footsteps grew louder, echoing in the silence of the storeroom. The thrill of discovery was quickly overshadowed by a gripping dread, wrapping around her like a heavy cloak. "We need to hide," she whispered urgently, pulling Ben behind a stack of dusty crates. As the door creaked open, the silhouette of a tall figure emerged from the dim light, casting a long shadow across the room. "What is going on in here?" The voice was low, commanding, sending a chill down Jessica's spine. Holding her breath, she peered through the slats of the crates. The figure stepped closer, revealing a familiar face, Mr. Thompson. Relief washed over her, but fear still lingered in the air. What if he had come searching for those very answers they were trying to uncover? "Mr. Thompson?" Ben whispered, the tension in his voice rising. "What are you doing here?" He paused, a hint of surprise flickering across his features. "I should ask you the same thing. I heard voices, and it didn't sound like a celebration." Jessica stepped forward, raising her hands defensively but with sincerity. "It's not what you think." We found some old letters about the inn and we think they might connect to Ben's family. Mr. Thompson's expression softened, curiosity replacing suspicion. Letters? From who? From Ben's father, Jessica replied, her voice steady. We were trying to learn more about Tom West, and what happened to the inn's legacy. We hope to share all of this at the community meeting. A deep revelation slowly unfolded on Mr. Thompson's face. Tom West was a close family friend. Your father was deeply affected by him leaving, Ben. It's a tangled web, but you might be onto something incredible. They huddled closer as he picked up a framed photograph from the trunk, a faded image of a smiling man beside Ben's father and a woman whose face mirrored the photograph they'd found earlier. This was taken at a gathering here, long before you even thought of coming back, he continued, the enthusiasm building. This is more than just history, it's a gift waiting to be shared. Ben felt his heart swell at Mr. Thompson's words. You think this could help us? Create that bond we've been hoping for? Absolutely, Mr. Thompson replied. His voice brimmed with conviction. This isn't just about reviving an inn, it's about acknowledging a community that once flourished. These letters could knit together the hearts of everyone involved. The idea sparked a fire in Jessica. Then let us take these to the meeting tomorrow night. We can connect families through their stories, reignite their love for the inn. It could become not just a place to stay, but a home for everyone. Suddenly the air crackled with possibilities. Amid sharing their aspirations, they could also explore the poignant history that lay before them, a web of stories longing to be retold. As the trio made their way back toward the inn's common space, Jessica felt a rush of gratitude. They had unearthed an opportunity to bridge past and present, to create something remarkable together. Once they reached the common area, the evening sun cast an inviting golden glow, illuminating Edna as she prepared for the gathering. She lifted her head and beamed. I was beginning to wonder where you three got off to. With a sudden surge of excitement, Jessica leaned into her mother, energy bubbling in her heart. You won't believe what we found. Edna's eyes widened, ready to absorb every word. Do tell. As they shared the story of their discovery, the letters, the photographs, the hope they could see the spark igniting in their mother's eyes. Laughter rang through the room, echoed by the sounds of townsfolk arriving with curiosity sparkling in their eyes. While the night transformed into a warm gathering of friends and families, Jessica felt the weight of uncertainty begin to lift. Maybe they weren't just fixing an inn, they were stitching together their community, forging connections that seemed lost over time. As the clock ticked closer to the meeting, the gathered townsfolk whispered among themselves, absorbing the rich history of Edna's cozy inn. Neon signs decorated the space as laughter and chatter began to meld into a sweet symphony of emotions. Edna stood before the crowd, her heart swelling with joy and pride. Welcome all. We're here not just for Edna's cozy inn but for each other. We're family, and it's time to revive this sanctuary together. The crowd erupted in applause, ecstatic murmurs filling the air. Jessica turned her gaze to Ben, who stood with a look of renewed assurance. You ready for this? She asked, her heart fluttering. More than ever, he replied, a wide smile breaking across his face. This feels right. And as the connections wove tighter, Jessica felt an undeniable essence of transformation all around her. Tomorrow would be the start of their shared journey, a path leading into the warmth of community, love, and family once more. As the night carried on, laughter intertwined with echoes of history, deepening bonds and paving the way for a vibrant future. This is just the beginning, Jessica whispered to herself, the light of hope twinkling in her eyes. Together, we can resurrect not just the inn, but the heart of our town. And as shadows folded into the night, the excitement surged, a joyous promise filled with new stories waiting to be written. The true magic of Edna's cozy inn was alive, brewing with every heart beating in rhythm with the community. Together, they were poised to create a legacy that would illuminate every corner of their history, a testament that love could conquer what once threatened to crumble. As she took a deep breath, Jessica knew brighter days awaited, rooted in hope, joy, and the undeniable strength of togetherness. Now, if you felt that surge of inspiration, this is the moment to show your support. You need to subscribe immediately to the channel so you won't miss any of our next exclusive stories. Drop a like now to feed the algorithm and help us reach more hearts. And please, comment below with your reactions and feelings about the ending. Don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Only true fans understand what it means to support the channel through these actions.